All right. Thank you guys so much for being on the call tonight. So every fourth Monday, we do a little hangout like this where I'll go over some announcements, talk about what's coming out, kind of what to expect. And then I just like to game plan with you guys and see what's working, maybe where you guys need some help, just celebrate some wins, whatever you guys want to talk about. The second Monday of every month, we do a team call with Team Goal Crushers. And so Shayna and I lead the call together, or sometimes we have coaches from other teams lead the call if they have some good stuff that's working for them that we want to share with you guys. So that's the second Monday of every month. And then the fourth Monday is more like a hangout. So it's very casual. You'll see that I very rarely have makeup on. So don't ever feel like, you can't be on the video if you're not all done up, because I never am. So, but I'm glad you're here. There's something about being on these calls that's really powerful and helpful, I think, just to get to know each other better and to be surrounded by people who want to do this together. If you don't, kind of do it with other people, then it can feel very lonely because you're working an online business, and you don't always get to see anybody in person, whether it's your challengers or your coaches. So I think these team hangouts are really important and really great for us to create that bond with each other. Because I know you girls, we're lucky that we're all local, but we have people on the team that are all across the United States and Canada. So, and hopefully some in the UK pretty soon. So I love our team calls so that we can all see each other face to face for a little bit and chat. So feel free to chime in if you have anything you want to say, any questions. It's an open forum. A couple things I wanted to mention Tara, were you going to say something?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that I don't know if you guys listened to the National Wake Up Call today, but
Hi, Cassidy.
Hey guys.
I listened to it this morning. Oh, hi. I listened to it this morning when I was working out, and I really liked how they said, how she talked about one of the most important things is having like a game plan, I forgot how she worded it. Did you listen to it today, Andy?
I haven't listened yet.
She talked about having, I don't know if she said game plan or like what your
like a marketing plan?
Not kind of like she named a bunch of people on her team and kind of what they were doing it for. Like some people were like, I'm a college student and I want to help college people find their fitness at 20 something years old. And there was like the stay-at-home moms and like kind of what your brand, I guess, is, and how that makes such a huge difference when someone sees like you have a place that you're going to, you have I can't remember the word she used a million times, but it just helps to paint a picture for other people to see where you're going, that there's a plan.
Absolutely. I love that. And I always listen to National Wake Up Call. I'm glad you brought that up. Everything that I've built with my business came from watching other people who are more successful than I am do what they do and then implementing it. So I always catch the National Wake Up Call, not always at 8 a.m. on Monday morning, but sometime in the week. I never miss it. I love that they're recorded for that reason. I take notes. And then the biggest thing is taking action, because you don't want to be just an information collector. There's so much you can learn in Beachbody. It could be like its own book, but you don't need to know everything. But what I would focus on is listening to the National Wake Up Call every week. Beachbody Corporate is very strategic in picking coaches who are either newer coaches who are just killing it, and the whole point is for them to share their best practices, or seasoned coaches who have built a sustainable business so that they can talk about how they've done that. And both things combined are magical, you guys. So definitely don't miss those. And my hope is that by meeting together on these calls, and sometimes in person, which is even better, that we can kind of bring that same vibe and just share, what's working. So definitely pay attention to those. So I didn't listen to the call yet today, but I have heard that before. It's really important to have a vision in this and know your why, know your reason behind it. It's nice in the beginning. I feel like the typical coach, and when I say typical, I don't mean that in a bad way at all, but the typical coach signs up because they're on fire, because they lost weight or they changed their life or they got healthy or, maybe they've always considered themselves that skinny person who just never did the healthy thing, and now they are. Whatever it is, they found that and they loved the products and the workouts and everything. And so they just genuinely want to share it. And then you start collecting little paychecks and you're like, wow, this is rad, because I am healthier than I've ever been. I feel better than I've ever been. And now I'm getting so much joy from helping other people do that. And I'm getting cash to do it. Like, that, what's better than that? And after you do it for a little while, if you don't have something behind that driving you, then that's not going to last forever. Just like with anything, this is a marathon, not a sprint, in terms of your fitness and in terms of your health. We're always going to be striving to work on this every day. It's not like you can diet and exercise for 6 months and then you're good for the rest of your life. And the business is the same way. It's something that we're constantly going to need to be tweaking and refining and working towards. So if you have a strong vision and a strong why deep within your core of why you're doing this, why are you helping other people? What do you want? And this is not selfish at all. What do you want personally to gain from this opportunity? I want you guys to ask yourselves that. What is driving you? So for me, when I first signed up, I was that typical coach where I lost weight. I had never successfully lost weight and kept off in my entire life. So it was very easy for me to talk about the products with anybody who would listen. And then the money started to come in and I was like, dang, this actually works. I was the most skeptical person of any sort of business like this. So that was hard for me to believe. And so my why in the beginning was just that. I loved earning a little bit of extra cash. So when I wanted to take a shift off, I didn't have to worry about it because I was working as a night nurse at the time. And I wanted people to feel the way that I feel, to have that extra energy, to have the extra pep in the step, to get to wear that smaller size jeans that I always wanted to wear, whatever it was. I love that. And I still do. But I got to a point where I needed more, I needed more of a vision and a why behind it. And so my why over time changed to, why not me? Why can't I make this into an actual successful, sustainable business for my family? And that's where it was difficult for me at first, just my personality, to feel like it was okay to want that, because I already had a job. I spent a long time working for that career and I loved it. And not only that, but I almost felt selfish earning money doing this. But I kept watching all these people on the national wake-up calls. I watched people on our big grandma team above us do that. And I thought, why not me? And my why turned into, I want to do this for my boys, for my family. I want to create a sustainable income so that I can be home. And that is my driving force now. So everything in the beginning is still there. I still genuinely want to share what I'm doing. I still genuinely want other people to have this feeling of, for the first time in their life, maybe getting healthy, getting fit, wearing that size 26 jeans or whatever as their goal. But I also have something pushing me that's very personal, that's very real, this is now my income. That makes it, that gives you a definite pep in your step. And of course that was ramped up when I quit my nursing job. So I want you guys to write down, what is your why? What's going to drive you to do this on the days where you're like, I'm in a bad mood and I actually don't feel like encouraging anybody today. Because as a coach, you have to show up every day for your challengers. You promised people that you would be there. Being a coach is the missing link between somebody buying all of our wonderful products off an infomercial, because they can do that, or off Amazon or eBay or whatever, because they can find them out there, you guys. So what's going to drive you? What's going to push you to do that? There's definitely days in my business where I don't feel like it. I don't feel like sharing my life on social media. I don't feel like posting that I had my Shakeology in my group for that day or whatever. But my why of, this is my business. This is very important to me. And on top of that, I promised all these people that I would be there for them, is enough to push me every single day to show up in my own business. I feel like if you're on this call, then you mean business. You want this to be something. And I think it's really powerful to write that down. Even if you're like, for a long time, I think it was like 2015, we always called it your big, hairy, scary goal. And I remember writing down that I wanted to earn more as a coach than I was as a nurse. And that was my big, hairy, scary goal because I didn't really think that that was possible. But once I wrote it down and I put it somewhere I could see it every day, I worked harder for it, and maybe instead of talking to 3 people a day, I started talking to 5 people a day. I just upped my game to another level because I had that goal, that little carrot dangling of what I wanted that was so personal to me. So for you girls, I really want to encourage you to do that. What is that big, hairy, scary goal? Maybe you're like, I would have to make so much money to replace my income or to do this or do that. And guys, it's not always about money. I'm just using that as the example for tonight. But, or your big, hairy, scary goal is to help 20 people a month, and right now maybe you're helping 2 and you're like, I don't even know if that's even possible. Well, if you never write it down and you never strive towards it, you're never going to figure it out. One thing I love to do as a leader on this team is talk to you guys about your goals so that I can help fill in the blanks and get the game plan to get you there. Because if you just write down a goal and you're like, yeah, that's what I want to quit my job. Well, then what? But you tell me, you know what, Andy, I want this really bad. This is kind of where we're at, and this is what I want. I can help you game plan towards that. What is that going to look like every day? How much time is it going to take every day for you to get there? How many people are you going to need to talk to? Where do you need to go with your social media? I would love to help you with all of the logistics to get you to your goal. But the biggest thing is going to be showing up every day, even when you don't want to. And like I was telling you girls when we met in person, those of you on Tara's team, I honestly, for at least the first 18 months, I did this in about an hour a day. And that's how I built the foundation of my business. And now I probably average 2 to 3 hours a day, sometimes more, sometimes a little bit less. I always make sure to get my power hour in every day. That's expanding my network and inviting people. And of course, checking in with my challenge group. But it sure beats a 12-hour shift like I used to do. And it's way less work than anything else for, what the income possibility is here. So I know that a lot of people come into coaching and they have this perception that it's going to be super easy and I don't have to do a lot, or the opposite, that in order to do what you do, I'm going to have to put my whole life on hold and just be a coach all day long. But you really don't, you guys. You just need to find your balance. And I would really love to work even one-on-one with you girls who really want this, to find that. Set those business hours. Be like, this is when I'm going to do my power hour, 1 hour. This is when I'm going to check in with my team. This is when I'm going to check in with my challengers, whatever it is. I would love to paint that picture for you and help you find that game plan so that your big, hairy, scary goal becomes a reality as you inch towards it. And that will feel so good. Just like in your fitness journey, you guys have all made huge strides. Like imagine having that same push towards this business and, week after week, month after month, watching your team grow, watching how many people you're helping, getting those messages from people saying, thank you so much for changing my life. That will drive you and keep you in the game. And I just want that for each of you. So if that is what you're wanting, then definitely talk to me or your upline coach so that we can game plan for that. Sorry, Terry, I just totally went on a huge rant because you brought that up. And I don't even know if that's what was talked about on the National Wake Up.
I have my notes. I forgot that I took a couple notes. And what she was saying is, what's your big idea? Like, what is your big idea? And she said, think about I wrote down basically she like, what's your market or what's your
your avatar?
What's an avatar? Like your person, what you describes you?
Yeah, like the person your ideal customer challenge.
Yeah. She did say don't surround yourself with people that aren't your people, because if you can't help them, there's somebody else out there that is their person and they can help them. Kind of stick to your people. And she said, I wrote down overwhelmed busy moms because that's kind of how I am. And she said the second thing to do is what post can you put on social media that speak to your big idea. And then she said, list 3 to 5 reasons why people should join your team. Why do they need you? What is going to set you apart from somebody else helping them? And so I just started to write down. I didn't finish it, but just kind of writing down. And I know people say it all the time, like, oh, you need to write that down. And I think a lot of us go, okay, we need to write it down, but I'll remember it. And I always tell people, write on your bathroom mirror, because that's the first place you get up in the morning and you brush your teeth or you go to the bathroom and you see it. And I told my sister that this week, like, write down a goal for the week. Don't think about like how much more weight you want to lose or whatever. If it's at like 1 pound that you're, shy of 20 pounds or whatever it is, like write it down on your mirror, because when you write something down, it's crazy how much more times you think about it than you think you do if you're like, oh, I won't forget. I know I need to do my power hour, or I know I need to do my whatever it is. Like if you have them written down, you get so much more things accomplished. If you pick a time in the day, like I'm gonna do my power hour at 6:00 in the morning, you get it done every day at 6:00 in the morning, instead of once or twice a week when you remember that you need to do it. When you see a post and you're like, oh, I need to call that person back, it's been 4 days. Well, you could have called them 4 days ago. So writing something down and having a plan for each thing that you're going to do, power hour, when you're going to do your workout, how you're going to meal prep, like writing down, having a specific time makes a huge difference. That's all.
Love it. Thank you, Tara. Absolutely. Yeah, it took me a while to fall into business hours, but it totally changed everything for me and just made it so much simpler, rather than feeling like I was connected to my phone all day long and it was always something like hovering over my head. Now I get up, I do my power from 5 to 6, sometimes 6:30ish, and then I'm done and I move on with my day. And during the day, all I'm doing is posting or responding to messages that seem pressing. And then at night, I pick it up again after my kids go to bed. Like there isn't really any other jobs that I feel like you can do that. So if by nighttime I'm just like dead, and to be completely honest, this last couple months being pregnant, that there's been far too many of those, at least I know that my non-negotiable of reaching out to people every day has happened. It already took place. I don't have to stress about it. So yeah. Does anybody else have any questions about any of that or anything to add? Or do you have a big, hairy, scary goal that you would like to share? Because that would be rad.
Well, Andy, you were talking about needing to figure out better balance. And I know, like, when I first started, I didn't have a whole lot going on in my life. And I mean, I'm a mom of 2 and whatever, I had stuff going on, but not the amount of stuff I have going on now that I'm pregnant and we moved and blah, blah, blah. And I notice now that I'm having a really hard time figuring out that balance. And I know in different parts of your coaching career that's going to happen, and you're going to have peaks and valleys. And I notice, especially with the holidays, feeling a lot of no's, and it can get really overwhelming and kind of like, maybe I should just wait till after the holidays to pick this back up. Maybe I should just, oh, well, everybody's so busy. Maybe I shouldn't bother them. And I know that's been a big struggle for me.
All right, let's talk about it. So there are going to be peaks and valleys in your business, and I'm glad you brought that up because I've been sharing with Tara. Honestly, after 4 years, I feel like I'm having the biggest struggle I've ever had right now. And I think it's a lot of what you were just saying. I'm very distracted right now with this pregnancy and with the holidays because Christmas is my favorite. So I feel like I've been doing the bare minimum, and that really bothers me because the bare minimum to me isn't going to get me to where I want to go. And that's like not acceptable to me. And it's so easy because your mind can play tricks on you, especially with something like this. It's so easy to think, well, 4 years ago, life was fine before I coached. Like, do I really need to be doing this? And the answer is yes, absolutely. I want to be doing this. When I compare what life was like for me then to what life is like for me now, I want this and it's worth it. But it takes a lot of time for me to remind myself of that because it's really easy to think about that. Think about the fact that I have an RN license, and if something happened, I could just go back to work, like in terms of finances, but that's not what I want. So you have to dig deep and just get beyond all of that. And I'm refocusing in. I feel like I've been saying that a lot lately with my fitness and my business, but at the end of the day, I've been doing my power hour every day, but I want more from this. So I'm going to have to put in more. So wherever you're at with this, even if you're a brand new coach and you're like, none of this is even making sense. You know, she's talking about doing this for 4 years. Well, it's really easy for you to think about 2 months ago before you were a coach, and maybe it was easier then. But what you haven't even gotten to yet is how great it can be if you dig in and just do this. And that is what I've experienced. And so I don't want to let that go. And I just want this to grow so that I can help you guys grow. The holidays are what you make of it when it comes to this business. You can look at it like it's downtime. People aren't going to want to spend money. They're not going to want to focus on their health and fitness because they'd rather eat cookies and hot cocoa, whatever. Or you can speak to that through your social media. You can speak to that in conversations and be honest with people. Like, look, I kind of want to be doing all those things too, but what I really love to share with you is that this plan that I'm on, you can still enjoy some of those things just in the right balance, in the right way. And the other thing that I've been talking to people about, because trust me, I've been getting a ton of no's right now too, is think about how great you'll feel January 1st when you've already been killing it for 3 or 4 weeks, rather than January 1st comes and for 30 years of my life, I was like, oh, it's here. Let's try this again. You know, let's see what we can do with no plan of action, with the same like hum ho, I'm overweight and unhappy. And now it's January 1st, so I should give it a go. You know, there's so many people out there that probably feel that way. So speak to that, speak to those pain points in people and get the conversations going, because if you're the coach who decides, you know what, it'll just be easier in January because everybody's going to be looking for gym memberships and whatever, then you're not going to be the coach that people are going to want to work with. And then because you didn't talk to them in November and December, you want to be that squeaky wheel, that persistent person who's like, look, I really want to help you. I genuinely want this for you. And I'm going to be here for you. And I'm going to be, I straight up tell people, look, I'm not trying to bug you, but at the same time, and unless you tell me like absolutely never, I'm probably going to reach out to you again in a month, you know, or right now I'm getting that money excuse. It's the holidays. I say, you know what, basically what you're paying for is your meals for 30 days. Like you're getting 30 days of meals and an entire gym membership for a year. You're not going to find that anywhere. So if you're looking, you know, for whatever you're going to be looking for come January to get your fitness in line, you're not going to find as much value here. And I want to help you. I actually want to like walk with you through this. You're definitely not going to find that from a personal trainer at this price. So just if you're in good conversations with people, you can say things like that, you know, be you in those conversations. If you're kind of pushy and whatever, like I am persistent, I like to consider myself persistent rather than pushy, then be that. Let your personality shine through and your genuineness. Because if you just take a, you know, no, it's not good right now because it's the holidays, and go, okay, well, why don't you follow that up with, okay, you know, do you have goals for the end of the year? And most of the time, the responses I'm getting is, yeah, but I'll deal with it in January. Then at least I can follow up and say, okay, well, in January, I'm going to send you a message. We'll chat about it again. I run these groups every single month, and I'd love to work with you when you're ready, because it's also a very personal thing. But I want to be the person that they think of come January, not 24-hour fitness, or not the other Beachbody coach that maybe reached out to them, you know, or the Beachbody coach who will reach out to them in January, because everybody starts up again in January, those who decide to wait it out through the holidays. So my advice is don't wait. You got to take action now. And I know that balance is hard. And I know when you came on, you had a lot less going on. And I know it's so easy to let those distractions come in. You need to dig in and find that why again. And I'll help you find what that looks like in your schedule now. I think that'll help a lot.
One of the things that I remember Lauren saying when I first talked to her about it was the money thing. And she had already tried the shakes, so she knew she liked them. And so for her, it was an automatic, like, what can I swap out that's going to equal the same $4 or $5 a day that I would be spending on. Hello. And that's something that I tell people when they go, because I've had a few people that for the third or fourth month now, they've said something money related. And I told them finally today, every month there's going to be rent due. Every month there's going to be, you know, something. And in January is no better, because in January everyone's broke from Christmas. That's what everybody says in January. And so I just tell people, like, what can you cut out? Like, if I put this on Facebook, if I was going to tell you $160 would literally change your health and fitness life, would it be worth paying the money? And everyone would say absolutely. If they knew for a fact that it would work for them ahead of time, they would do it. It's just the unknown. It's the not knowing enough about it and not getting it yet. And if when they get it, it's always worth it. So that's what I tell people. It's find the thing you can swap out, and I can guarantee you results with this if you are committed to it. If this is what you want and you have goals and you want to be somewhere, or you have something coming up that you want to get fit for, like, it works if you commit to it. And if it's a money issue for real, what can you cut out every day that's $5? And then you make it.
And leading with that, you're so sure about it, helps a lot. Because if you just kind of shy away when they say no thank you, then you could just consider it done at that point, But if you follow up and say, like, I promise, you shared, I like to, in most of my conversations, get to a point when I'm inviting that I already know kind of what their struggles are or what they want in terms of goals in their fitness. So I can speak to that and say, I can promise you'll get that last 15 pounds of baby weight off, like guaranteed 100% if you follow this. There's no gimmicks and no guessing about it. It will happen. So is that worth it to you, or do you want to continue to just hem and haw about what plan of action you're going to take?
Yeah. I have a challenger who's new, and she joined us in the beginning of October. And I told Annie this already, but I talked to her today privately, and I was like, how's it going? Like, you've been doing really well. And she's like, I've lost 17 pounds since October. She goes, I was skeptical, but it's been super easy as far as like following the meal plan and drinking the shake, and the workouts seem to be fun. She's like, but I've lost 17 pounds. And so it's like one of those moments where you're like, yes, I knew it. I told you, like, you totally got this. And that's proof right there. 17 pounds in less than 8 weeks is crazy.
Love it. Are there any other questions or anything specific that?
I had two things. So my idea thing, I think I've said this before, but what has been running through in my mind is I want to thrive and not just survive. So by I really feel like I've been thriving these past few weeks because you log onto the app and you feel accountable to like all these other women who are doing it with you, and I love that. And then second question was what is a realistic number? And I think maybe you've answered it already, but what is a realistic number that I could make? And I know that you kind of said it, it is what you put into it. But like, if I wanted to quit my job and that would mean, I had to work, or make, $4,000 a month, what is that a realistic goal, or is that just like completely?
It's very realistic. It's very real. Yes. Okay. Absolutely.
Cool.
100%. And I know people that make way more than that. But okay. Yes, I would say that that's doable, obtainable. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
And I can break down with you what that looks like in terms of volume and team size and
right.
The biggest thing is what I did to get to that and beyond is hitting Success Club 10 every month and adding 2 people to my team every month. And I've done that consistently, and it'll get you there.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I think start with me starting, knowing that that's a realistic goal, and then starting by the daily and weekly small little bites I can chew my way. Because if you, like Tara said, it's whatever gets measured gets improved. So if I'm gonna start, because right now all I'm doing, I'm not talking to anybody about it. So I need to make those small little goals. Like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to reach out with 2 people, and then move on from there or whatever.
Take a look at that Career Coach Power Hour that I sent you. Did you get that in your messenger? a couple weeks
Yes,
ago?
I did. I think I started to look at it, but I wasn't able to finish.
Okay, take a look at it, and any questions you have about it, just send them over to me or Tara. But that's what you should be focusing on every day, because it gives you the right amount of numbers of people to be talking to each day to reach that goal.
I kind of have this idea that I keep trying to see if I can get to work, but I feel like people, especially like our age, like they like to do things in groups together. And I keep saying, like, when I'm reaching out to people, I'm trying to think of, do I know somebody who's getting married, who has a whole bridal party that they could all get together and they all get a challenge pack, and I can run a private group with just that bridal party or just this graduating class or whatever it is, where you can get a bunch, like one friend who has a bunch of friends, and they can run this, and then you can offer like a fun prize at the end, and it's like a bunch of friends competing against themselves, against each other, and in like this close-knit little challenge group. And I love doing the challenge groups because I feel like it keeps people so much more accountable, and in this community it's better than doing it by themselves or any other way of doing it. But try to think about that, Lauren, like if there's somebody you know who you could get like a group of girls together, and it would be a huge win right off the bat, and I think it would really give you the momentum you need to like jump in.
That's a great idea. I know Kelly on the team, I think it was her a basketball team or something, a girls basketball team that she was hooked up with, and that's what she did in September or October. She got them all to do it together, and so it totally worked.
I had a question.
Yes.
So for your like page, for people that like it, so I just finished in my first ad, and I think I got a third more likes than I added to my page, like 33% more. It's still very small. It's only like 300. But do you go and like message everyone that has liked your page? Because then I feel like it just messages it from my personal account, and they don't always see you if you don't accept the message. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I've been going back and forth with this, to be honest. Sometimes I do, and I just very short and sweet, like, thank you so much for liking my page. I appreciate the support. And then I'll just ask a question, like, are you also into fitness? Or
That's kind of what I did, but I just didn't know if that's like the best way to go about it.
I've heard both. I've heard that some people swear by it, that it opens up conversations. Some people are like, I don't. The other way of thinking about it is then maybe they think you're automatically going to try to sell them something. So I think kind of feel it out. And I was only sending it to people who fit my avatar. Because if they didn't, then it's like, because I still feel like I'm zeroing in on my target market in terms of ads and who it's attracting, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So.
Cool.
Good to see you, Jen. Your puppy's super cute.
You want to see her?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
We're about to go for our after dinner walk.
She's so cute. Anybody else have anything for tonight?
One of the things I just wanted to say really quick for especially the people that are new. I mean, I know that I'm new too, but when I first started with Andy, one of the things I told her was that I don't want to be salesy, and I'm not good on social media. Those were my first two things I said to her. I don't ever post unless it's a picture of my kids. Other than that, I just Facebook stalk. And in not like less than 4 months, it's like I've done a 180, and it's really not that hard. And when I talk to people, it comes from a place of passion. And so I feel like I'm not, even if it sounds salesy at this point, I don't care, because if it helps people, if I can help 10 people and the one person thought it was annoying, then I guess it's worth it, because 10 people are being helped, and one person who thinks it's annoying will probably come back around and join me eventually anyway. And so I just feel like it's worth it. And it's really, talking to people is harder if you think about it than just doing it. It just takes a couple of times of doing it consistently, and it just becomes like second nature, and it won't seem like that big of a deal at all.
Totally. Yeah, just dive in. I always use the analogy, think of it like you saw a really good movie, and you would tell everybody if you saw a good movie. But just the fact that you're getting a commission makes people go, "Ugh, I don't want to say anything." Anything else? Well, I appreciate you guys being on tonight, and don't be shy. Don't be shy in the team page, whether you're a new coach or a veteran coach. I really want to come together more. I feel like these hangouts are really helping. And I'd love to do more local meetups for the coaches who are local. And yeah, I just want to get to know you guys better and better support you in any way that I can. So don't be shy. You can ask me anything. I'm an open book, and I'm just here to help you guys. So
one more thing, let's congratulate Becky for signing her first challenge pack.
yay, go Becky. That's rad, girl.
Thank you.
Is it freezing at the soccer field?
Actually, Jim came and saved me, so I'm back home.
Oh, good.
It was, though. It was freezing, but he saved me, so I'm good now.
Yay.
All right.
All right. Well, have a great night, and I'll catch you guys later.
Andy. See you
Bye.
guys.